How's it hanging, dudes? My name is Sean, and I have not uploaded in a week, as some of you have reached out to ask if I'm okay. And I am, and I know that it sucks for, the 100 of you who still watch this channel. Oh, that sounds bad, doesn't it? But I get that, I do. But there is a very good reason that you may like as why I haven't really been uploaded on the daily, and we will get into that a bit later towards the end, as those of you who give any sort of a crap will watch till then. And if any of you do actually do give somewhat of a crap, remember you can always keep up with me on Discord and Twitter, which is located on the main channel page. So let's make up for lost time, shall we? Before we get into the meat of the video, I want to talk about this. We have a kind of sort of maybe-ish release date news situation that may lend a tad bit of credence to a possible late 2019, early 2020 release, as all but one particular person has speculated. Alright, so here we have CD Projekt Red hiring release manager for Gwent Cyberpunk 2077. While a job opening for Cyberpunk 2077 has the internet ablaze with speculation, it's not clear the highly anticipated RPG is any closer to getting a release date. Though there is still no firm release date for Cyberpunk Red's highly anticipated non-Witcher RPG, Cyberpunk 2077 eagle-eyed sleuths on Reddit have noticed that the company is currently hiring a release manager for Gwent and Cyberpunk 2077. According to the job advertisement on CDPR's website, the release manager will be responsible for a myriad of tasks related to two games. These include assisting in the submission of games to ratings and certification boards, managing release schedules and checklists, and facilitating communication between CDPR and external partners. It is not clear how long the job posting has been live or when it might be close, and while it does mean that CDPR is in the process of ramping up support around the title, it doesn't mean that the launch is necessarily imminent. Currently, there are 40 positions open in the company, and So, yes, they've hired a release manager for the two games, which means they could be releasing more Gwent content and ramping up for a Cyberpunk 2077 release date. Now, just because they hired this guy, that means it's in the very early throes, right? So that obviously doesn't mean that it's right around the corner. So it's sort of news, and it's related to a Cyberpunk release date. So now I'm going to let me switch gears a little bit, because this quote, release date news, end quote, in this article, it's pure non-confirmation speculation based on newly publicly available information. But the title invokes you to click because some possible release info could be there that to derive a little bit of information from, right? Is that a bad thing? Is this clickbait? Is this outlet a street rat? I struggled with whether or not I wanted to make this video, but I feel that I have to. I don't think anyone else is capable, able to, or willing to shed some objective light on the situation that has been bubbling underneath the surface of the cyberpunk community for quite a while, and quite frankly is just dividing it when it shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't be that community. I am going to be, as nuanced as I possibly can. Alright, so here goes. I'm sure many of you know who both Kazuliski and the Neon Arcade are. Well, if you don't, they are the most prominent exclusively cyberpunk content makers only, or YouTubers, only with Mad Queen being slightly larger, and sometimes she uploads other things beyond cyberpunk. But anyway, to stay on track, and then myself bringing up the rear with this dead-ass channel, right? You have Triple S League and Last Known Male, those people, but they upload a lot of content that's not necessarily cyberpunk. So as far as exclusively cyberpunk content creators go, you have Neon Arcade, you have Kazuliski, you have Mad Queen, and you have me. And just today, Kazuliski uploaded a video about street rats. If you don't know, to put it in a simple, non-lore layman's terms, in Cyberpunk, a street rat is a lowlife and someone who society looks down upon openly. This is one of Kaz's shticks, right? He has uploaded these kinds of videos before, and oftentimes rightfully so. And on the surface, there's nothing wrong with it. I myself have done it, simply talking about general clickbait from outlets and gaming journalists whose job it is to get factually accurate stuff right, and so on, is commonplace and should be done. However, when it goes from that to a personal attack, I have to question your motives. I can't really stand for that. In fact, it kind of pisses me off. I used to be a fan of Kazuliski's until his upload today that was directed at Neon Arcade and blatantly smeared him without providing any proof. Not a single clip of Neon's own words was provided as proof, but rather Kaz, informed his own audience based off his own take of what he thought Neon's meanings or implications were. I know the video was directed at Neon because it is unabashedly using Neon's own channel identity and furthermore references the 13th of a release date video of which Neon uploaded, all the while keeping Neon's image on screen for the majority of the time. Look, full disclosure, I am a moderator in Neon's Discord, and it might seem like I might be skewed a certain way, but from day one that I was aware of some sort of drama between these two people, I told him that if any beef between he and Kaz had, that was in the past or current or whatever, has nothing to do with me, and that I would still be a fan of Kaz and support his channel because I like Cyberpunk, I like his take on a lot of things, and so on and so forth. I thanked him for the moderator spot, and he said that he encouraged me to still be a fan of Kaz, and that any beef was purely from Kaz directed towards him. That kind of took me aback a little bit, and I was a little hesitant about that because I haven't really seen, usually Kaz, says street rat as a general term, doesn't really target any particular person. A lot of times you're thinking that he's talking about clickbait articles, mainstream articles, stuff like that, or those huge 200,000 or 300,000 subscriber YouTube channels who only hop in whenever Cyberpunk's popular at the time, right? So yeah, I mean, he always uses it as a general term, but okay, that's Neon's position, and I respect that because I've never seen anything from Neon against Kaz either, right? So cool, okay. It seemed Neon harbored no ill will, so perfect, right? Well, then Kaz's video today was not made in that general sense. It was actually quite vitriolic. Kazuliski's upload blatantly was taking Neon's video on April 13th out of context. He didn't provide the clip in question because it's far less damning or street ratty than he would have you believe. But I will show it because sunlight is the best disinfectant, and you don't have to ever take my word for anything. I'll provide the clip if my claim is so just and right. If I feel that I'm in the right and I think that somebody's doing something bad, I'll provide the clip for context and show what they're doing wrong. Kaz didn't do that. So the clickbait in question is that Neon said that there was no certain release date for Cyberpunk Red. That's all I'm going to add to, and after we see the clips, you decide for yourself what is so bad about Neon's video to cause such a vitriolic reaction from Kaz. Okay, so first let's hear about what Kaz openly implies about Neon. I'll speed it up just a little bit because he talks really slow, but here it is.
If you have never watched any of my videos before, it's a video series dedicated solely to examining clickbaiting street rats who fabricate news in order to capitalize on the excitement fans have for the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 game from CD Projekt Red, or Cyberpunk Red from Talsorian Games and Mike Pondsmith. Almost on a weekly basis, individuals produce clickbait and misinformation on Cyberpunk 2077 with particular emphasis on its release date. This nonsensical news is produced despite the fact that CD Projekt Red themselves do not have a fixed internal release date. These street rats and their sycophants have actually resorted to attacking CD Projekt Red and also have the audacity to call the Cyberpunk 2077 community team liars.
Also, you see how Kaz is blatantly conflating people who are, attacking CD Projekt Red with Neon Arcade's fan base. He's just completely smearing him. There's no basis for that. He provides no proof that it's Neon Arcade's fan base, other than he's just asserting that claim without any proof. He doesn't quite come out and say that it's Neon's fan base themselves, but he has a picture up of Neon calling him a street rat, while he's saying street rats have gone as far as to do X, Y, and Z. So that's pretty surreal.
For today's Red Pill, I'm going to keep it short and sweet and focus only on the Cyberpunk Red release date. In case you were not aware, Cyberpunk Red is the pen and paper sequel to Cyberpunk 2020. It is being developed by Mike Pondsmith and Talsorian Games. Cyberpunk Red is described as a continuation of the Cyberpunk 2020 narrative, which will assist in bridging the gap between Cyberpunk 2020 and the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 game from CDPR. 3 weeks ago, on March 17th, 2019, Talsorian Games publicly revealed on their website and social media accounts the provisional release date for Cyberpunk Red, the core rulebook. It will debut on August 1st at Gen Con Indianapolis 2019. This information is publicly available for all to verify for themselves. if you wish to do so. Various things can happen with cons, so the data is considered to be provisional. I covered this on the community tab and released a dedicated news video on March 25th, 2019. I spoke with my friends at Talsorian Games and also confirmed that physical copies of the rulebook will be available on their website shortly afterwards, while PDF copies should be available from August 1st on the Drive-Thru RPG website. Imagine my surprise when on April 13th, a click-baiting street rat who regularly produces fake news lied once again about Cyberpunk Red's release date. That's right, Chumba. The street rat, who on a weekly basis delivers fake news and misinformation on Cyberpunk 2077 release details, will deliberately lie to you even when the actual release date for Cyberpunk Red has been publicly available for almost a month now. This is textbook street rat modus operandi. If you want to waste your precious time watching clickbait, fake news and lies from a clueless street rat, that is entirely your prerogative. Take the blue pill. Let the street rat plow your rear end and believe whatever you want to believe. And if you are watching this video, street rat, as I know you enjoy plagiarizing content from others.
Alright, so that seems pretty damning, right? I mean, that seems like a gotcha if I've ever heard one. If I'd never been to Neon's channel, I would think that he's like the biggest clickbaiting animal that there was to come squash Jake and Logan Paul with their clickbait, right? He's got to be, is he clickbaiting that bad? Deliberately on purpose misleading people by telling lies? That doesn't sound too good. By this token, we should boycott Neon's channel, right? I mean, if we go look at Neon's video in question, we should at least find some good hard evidence of these lies and manipulation, right? Well, let's hear what Neon really said.
Today we have some big news about a Cyberpunk 2077 release being closer from a new position CD Projekt Red has hired in preparation for a Cyberpunk 2077 release. More details and some possible examples of merch we will see from the Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red merch store, and how quickly it already has an online presence. First up in our Cyberpunk 2077 news, we have the hiring of a release manager by CD Projekt Red. Now this gives us insight into a release being soon and potentially a stronger argument for an E3 2019 release date being announced. According to the actual job description, they're looking for a well-organized and quality-focused release manager to support CDPR on their current and upcoming projects and to take part in the coordination of all global product releases. Now this is huge because it has big implications on the release date and that they're actually planning for this right now. Now if anyone watching this is actually qualified, I suggest you check this out. There's some really cool possibilities for you guys, and they even have the greatest incentive of all for applicants. Next up we have some Cyberpunk Red details. Now as you know, this is a game being developed by Talsorian Games, who make the source material of Cyberpunk 2077 and is working with CD Projekt Red. Cyberpunk Red will bridge the gap between Talsorian's Cyberpunk 2020 and CDPR's 2077 and will play a big part in how the world has changed in those years. There is no release date yet, but Mike Pondsmith and the crew have been doing some incredibly deep research. We know that they've talked to a neuroscientist about cyberware in the past, but now they're purchasing bulletproof backpacks to study them to make their Cyberpunk Red world more authentic. This could hint at kids being a big facet of Cyberpunk Red and their safety standards, and that might transition into 2077 having kids that need to be protected in the violent metropolis of Night City.
Well, now that doesn't really seem like too big of a deal. Kind of similar to what I just did in the first part of this video, right? The problem is the two fan bases overlap tremendously. So most of these accusations fall flat on their face because most people already watch his content and understand that it is just not the case. Neon is technically right. A Google search doesn't show the game listed, Cyberpunk Red, but Kaz found out something and we should all go to him for the source when the screenshot he shows himself of the source book will be announced at Gen Con doesn't mean the game is available for purchase that day, which means it's not technically released, only debuted. And as you see yourself, Kaz, the Gen Con date itself is subject to change, as well as the initial copies only being available after Gen Con, as you say so yourself. So by your own standard, you are clickbaiting and manipulating your audience into thinking Gen Con is the date. By the technicality, it's actually a bit after, seeing as Gen Con is only a debut if that date doesn't change itself. So you actually prove him right in your attempt to smear. And to say Neon said that there is no certain Cyberpunk Red date and did to purposely to mislead his audience with a lie is unfounded and literally a blatant smear, which makes you the street rat, dude. At best, Neon just made a simple mistake, but I'm sure the oh so perfectly accurate and infallible Kazuliski would never make a mistake, right? That couldn't possibly, no. I mean, I don't want to do this video, I really don't, but it seems childish. It seems very insecure. I mean, there's nothing for Neon to gain by lying to his audience, so why would he, especially when he's experienced the growth he's experiencing? By using Neon's channel ident, you, in your own thumbnail, you do promote his brand, Kaz. You do realize this, right? Your sub count may be a little higher if you refrain from these personal attacks on honest people just going through the YouTube grind. Maybe it's jealousy, or maybe it's ignorance. Maybe you're just a purist, but when you try to be as pure as that, the dirt really shows way more easily. Or hell, maybe you just don't know what clickbait is. I mean, if you put Cyberpunk release date info in the title and then the video has nothing to do with Cyberpunk release date, then sure, that's clickbait and that's out there. But that's not Neon. If they have any info at all, speculation, news, articles, anything about the title subject, then that isn't clickbait, even if it may not hold much useful information or you might not like the video in general. And even if Neon was clickbaiting that way, which he isn't, then what in the hell really would you expect? Welcome to the freaking internet, man. Like, I don't know if you've been around or not, but like literally everything is designed to get you to click. Even your videos, Kaz, unless a content creator has explicitly come out and said, hey, I take on a moral obligation to be as accurate as possible and money is not my goal, then you shouldn't invoke your own personal morals on that creator or your own creator ethics on that person. You have your ideals to abide by and nobody else has to abide by them. Furthermore, the fact that you feel the need to attack another Cyberpunk creator and have done so numerous times while Neon has never stooped to your level and never responded and never made a video about you only lends more credibility to the fact that Neon isn't doing anything for ill will or ill intended, only trying to grow his brand, which is doing better than yours, I just want to point out. I wouldn't have to make this video if you wouldn't be curating the comments. If you can't tolerate people disagreeing with you and you feel you have to delete comments and not reply to criticism, only means that you don't have the courage of your own convictions and you're pretty much insecure about your own viewpoints. I commented this, and if I switch to my other channel, you can't find it anywhere, which means it's been deleted. So make no mistake, this only divides the community. It doesn't help. You're not really helping at all. You're not exposing nobody. You're doing more harm than good. We are not competition. We are a community. And you can be included if you wish. In fact, no one harbors any ill will towards you, Kaz. I would like to take this opportunity to formally extend to you a sit-down or a podcast-style video where we can chat, debate, have a conversation with me and you. We can just sit here and talk of why you feel this way, why you feel the way you feel. You are more than welcome to fully explain yourself, but really we would all like to just be friends. You catch more bees with honey than you do vinegar. If you have any problems with anybody, all you have to do is reach out. People will talk to you. It's not like you have to make these sort of videos smearing people, I guess in the hopes to cut down his subscriber count and make people turn on him and then go to you. Is that the case? Because that makes you more of a street rat than anything else. We should all be congratulating each other on the growth that we've received and on this awesome game that's coming out, and we should all stick together and band together and not sit here and have this sort of infighting, because CDPR is making content for everybody and we're making content for everybody. It's just the way it is. And so since we're on my second channel, this reminds me, I haven't uploaded in a week. Well, that's because I've had a second channel take off. It requires a bunch of attention and research, so I just haven't really had much Cyberpunk time since this channel isn't really priority as far as growth goes, right? I will be doing another frame-by-frame live stream soon this week and some other cyber guides as well, so don't worry. If you want to sub to the new channel, that's awesome. Haters can come too, the more the merrier. It's political though, so if you want to pass, I totally agree. But yeah, I just felt I wanted to hop in here and just, you know, give my thoughts about this, because it's just slanderous and it's not right, and we should all come together and put our differences aside, and just know that nobody else has attacked you, Kaz, so I don't know why you feel the need to do this to other people. I'd love to have a chat with you, man, and I hope this doesn't have to be the way it is. And if you ever consult a Magic 8 Ball, the omnipotent and majestic mystical powers that it holds, then make sure you like and subscribe. And until next time, piss off.
2 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. I like good pussy and I like good trees. Smoke so much weed you wouldn't believe, and I get more ass than a toilet seat. 3 to the 1, from the 1 to the 3. I met a bad bitch last night in the D. Let me tell you how I made her leave with me. Conversation and